Welcome, All Saints family. Thank you for tuning in to this week's vlog. We have a very special two guests with us this week. We have both artists who have been part of the Transform Arts year-long artist residency. And if you're unfamiliar with what that is, Transform Arts is a part of Crew, which many of you may be a little bit more familiar with the identity, the organizational identity of Crew. Transform Arts is within that organizational umbrella, but specifically working with the vocation of artist as it relates to them growing as an artist, but then also growing in community with other artists. And as it is with Crew, also has a very distinct missional identity as well as part of its DNA. And so the artist residency in particular is just about a year-long process or experience for residents to come and live as part of the residency locally, but then what it's doing is giving them opportunities to grow as an artist within their craft, but then also in sustainable practices on how they might sustain their work as different types of artists beyond the residency. And so with that, we have both Michaela and Heather with us. They are part of the residency and they're rounding out their residential experience. As such, All Saints is hosting a pop-up gallery, which will be hosted upstairs. It's going to feature the visual art of Michaela and then the illustrations and literary work of Heather in one cohesive gallery that is serving as sort of a capstone showcase of their year-long residency. So with that, why don't you both take just a couple of minutes each just to introduce yourself, perhaps where you're from and what your process has been like through the residency. And we can start with either whoever wants to go first to kick us off.
I can go first. Hi, I'm Michaela. I moved to Dallas from Orlando for the artist residency, and I'm an oil painter. And so, if you come to the show, you'll see a lot of the paintings that I worked on during the residency. And I'm specifically interested in how nature reveals the spiritual reality. So, and I've also just loved getting involved at All Saints, while I was here, and getting to know everyone. So, yeah.
So quick follow-up question. How have you been involved in All Saints? Like what parts of the ministry have you been involved with and what service have you been regular at?
I go between the 9:30 and 11 service a lot, and it just depends on the day, but I've been on the greeting team and the prayer team, and it's just been such an amazing experience. I just feel like this church is it's so different from anything I've ever been to. So everyone here is really special.
I love that. And
Yeah.
Heather, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are as an artist as well.
Yeah, so before the residency, I was in Lynchburg, Virginia, which, if anybody knows, Liberty University, that's where that college is, and that's where I graduated. So, came down to Dallas for the residency, and I was originally like a studio and digital art student, but throughout the residency, I really came to have a deeper love for writing, and so I've been working on my first medieval fantasy story, um, which is like on draft 3 now, which is crazy. But for the show, I'm going to be able to have various illustrated scenes that take place throughout the story. So you'll be able to get a feeling of the characters and what's happening. Because eventually, when I release the book, it'll have illustrations as well as the story itself. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, in terms of being involved at All Saints, we both started like coming here at the beginning of the residency, and I came one service and was like, I don't need to go anywhere else. I know where I'm going to church. Like this is it. It's just a very spirit-filled, grace-filled place, and I have grown so much here. I usually go to the 11 o'clock, and so I haven't necessarily served too much, particularly in the church body per se, but I've gotten very involved with the young adult um, group at All Saints as well as just, Art House Dallas, like different connections. But yeah, I'm excited because I'm gonna stay in the area, so I'm gonna definitely keep coming to All Saints. It's a really special place.
I love that. I love that. Well, why don't you also beyond the residency? So clearly, the residency has been sort of preparing you to launch into a different aspect of your growth as an artist, but then also perhaps aspirational projects or things beyond this residency. So tell us a little bit about what's next? What's on the very, very near horizon, like as in what's going on next month?
Um, I will be doing an artist residency for the summer in Pennsylvania through the Hartley Residence. It's another faith-based artist residency program, and we'll be doing farm work the first half of the day, and then art in the second half of the day, which is literally like my dream. And then after that, I'm moving to New Haven to start a scenic painting internship at Yale.
Fantastic. Love that. And then come back to Dallas. So great.
Yes.
Totally, totally.
Love that. Okay, great. And Heather, what about yourself?
Yeah, so as I said, I'm gonna be staying in the Dallas area. I'm gonna be working at Central Commons, which I think it's also considered a type residency
Mhm.
position, but it's more ministry based in terms of like building community and stuff. So I'll be there working there for a few years in the coffee shop and like helping form different various outreach events, which is really fun since I love people. So that's great.
Love
And then
that.
I'm also going to be continuously involved. I'm in a writers group that's connected to Art House Dallas. So I'm really excited to continue because I'm kind of a baby writer. So I'm definitely excited to continue to grow in that craft with other faith-based women and people. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit about the pop-up gallery that's happening. I know that the art will be up for about a week, beginning today. So on Thursday, they'll see it, they'll engage with it if they're upstairs this weekend on Sunday. But then also you have an event, a gallery opening, if you will, on Tuesday the 24th. So next Tuesday. Tell us a little bit about the details around that, because I know that it's an open gallery event for all folks, like so anybody who's at All Saints.
Yeah, so the art that you'll see from me will be fire followers. That's like the theme
Mm.
of the paintings. And so those are flowers that follow a wildfire. They bloom specifically only after the destruction that a
Oh,
fire brings.
mm,
And so I've been connecting that with just themes of rebirth and kind of reframing trauma and pain in the world through the lens of like that's the vehicle for beauty to emerge.
mm.
And most of the paintings are made with ashes. And so I've been like materially explaining that through painting with ash.
Oh, it's so great. Okay, love
Yeah.
that. And then Heather, tell us a little bit about the art that you're going to be displaying.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I have
sorry.
no idea how that happened. I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, so to answer the question, so for my art, it's gonna be kind of entering my writer's brain. So the first part is gonna be my writer's desk with the synopsis of who the characters are, so you get to
Mm,
kind of know them. And
mm,
then you get, as you walk through, you start to see various scenes of the illustrated scenes I've made of the story, of certain pivotal moments. You can kind of like guess what's gonna happen in the story. And then
yeah.
I also at the end I have like three short narratives that I wrote just to give people an idea of what my writing style sounds like. And during the show, I will for a short bit dramatically read like a little bit of a chapter for people from the
Cool.
book as well to give them an idea. But
Yeah.
what's really special too is that one of my short stories is actually based off of an All Saints experience I had because I went to the Holy Spirit encounter and had an encounter there. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And so I wrote a narrative thing based off of my experience. And so I definitely wanted to show it at this church since it was connected to my experience here. So
Mm.
that's a fun little Easter egg. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you. I'm very excited. I'm excited to be there on Tuesday and see the art that's displayed and hear you talk a little bit more in depth and do readings from your artwork. So it's fantastic, and it's been a wonderful blessing to have both of you here over during your residency as part of the All Saints family. And I'm excited to see what the Lord continues to do in your growth as an artist and what comes out of that. So, friends, put it on your calendar for this Tuesday. If you're free, the doors open at 6 p.m. The artist talks are going to happen right at 7:30. We would love for you to come out, join us, and support these two young emerging artists. And with that, friends, I hope you have a great close to your work week, and we look forward to seeing you at one of the services this Sunday.